Metric Environmental Inc. is Canada's premier water solution and environmental consulting company. Blue Metric provides a full range of environmental consulting services supported by bespoke engineering solutions for emergency, self-contained, and permanent water systems, and is always mission ready with a full range of in-house support to ensure your mission is a success.
And welcome back to the Over the Horizon podcast here at MASS 2023. I'm Alan Dale. With me as always, my good buddy Jerry Carew. We are Gale Force Winds, and this podcast is brought to you by our friends from Blue Metric. I want to tell you, been a lot of great conversations happening in and around this day. A lot of focus on the Arctic, a lot of focus on remote areas, a lot of focus on how we bring safety and security up to those areas. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Well, thanks for being here, and I don't know that great even properly explains how the conversations have been. It's been fantastic. My name is Willis Jacobs, and my day job is with Cougar Helicopters as their safety and quality manager. But as a part of this conference, I'm also the chair of ACADA, so I get to be a part of the actual conference itself.
Willis, put together a great show. MASS is always a great show. ACADA, great organization. Everybody we talked to a person, talked about the importance of ACADA, what it meant to them as members. That concierge service, going the extra mile, making the connections, must make you feel proud.
It makes us feel proud because that's our raison d'etre. That's when we wrote we spent a lot of time last year writing a strategic plan, and for all the things that are out there that we could take on as challenges, what we wanted to remain was member focus. We want to be that organization that we know our members, and we want to be able to facilitate them and help them get to conferences like this, introduce their technologies and innovations to the outside world, and it's working, and we're getting great feedback.
Fantastic lens on workforce development. How do we build that pipeline? Everybody's kind of in that conversation. Diversity, equity, inclusion, important topics, all being covered so well through ACADA, and concerns around environment, hitting all of the very important topics of the day.
Yeah, and that's the agenda that we've built and the guest list that we have. It's deliberate to address all of those areas. You know, ACADA is a regional organization representing the 4 Atlantic provinces. So it's not an easy space to move around in, but we want to make sure we get the folks over from New Brunswick, PEI, Nova Scotia. We get them all here in St. John's, just like in August we'll all be assembled in PEI for a somewhat similar event, and then Nova Scotia. It's important that we do that. It's important that we get out, and even as small as the Atlantic provinces are, you got to make the effort if you want to get in front of people and actually fly from here to Halifax, get from here to Charlottetown. So that's what we're trying to do. We understand the value of being in front of our customers who are our members.
Willis, it's always nice to invite people to your home province to showcase our home province. We had a speech a couple of days ago from Alan Doyle, and Alan Doyle described Newfoundland to an American audience as the Hawaii of the North.
Oh, yes.
And the weather has not let us down. Yeah. It's an amazing time to have a conference, is it not?
Alan Doyle could probably sell that piece when the weather is not so good. I'm not so good at that. I need the weather as a backdrop to be able to tell that story, but we're always happy to receive visitors to our fair province, and when they come and they see what we have for a place to live, and then they look at what we offer for technologies and innovation to a person, and we've seen it through MASS, it brings people back. And we have an incredible lineup. You know, this year we have Peter Van Praag, who is the leader for the Halifax Security Forum. Him and Peter McKay did a panel this afternoon. You could hear a pin drop in a room as these two gentlemen who are very knowledgeable about global affairs, and then relating it to what we're doing in the Arctic and northern regions, and the opportunities and the potential for Atlantic Canada. That's the message we're trying to deliver.
Well, yeah, you delivered it well. Everybody's walking away from today quite pleased and quite happy. Cougar, did you have a good mass from the Cougar point of view?
Yeah, well, I actually had the opportunity to present on northern search and rescue, northern and remote search and rescue, and just talking about some of the challenges that we have as a massive geography, how that's changing related to climate change, and how we need more and more of what search and rescue offers, and sort of relating it to that we have a wonderful capability in Canada with the Coast Guard and the Canadian Armed Forces. We just don't have enough of it. And there's a lot of exposure in the north, there's a lot of exposure in the Arctic. So we think Cougar, or a company like Cougar, we present it as a challenge that the country has to take on, and Cougar would be quite happy to be part of that, but there are probably others out there that could do it as well.
Well, I got to tell you, a wonderful conversation around Acada, a wonderful conversation around Cougar, an incredible event, as you so rightly point out. Fantastic event. Couldn't happen without a whole lot of people leaning into it. Your team did a great job.
They did. They always do, and we appreciate you guys being here, because a big part of, if you want to tell the story about what's going on in the Arctic and the innovation and technologies that are required, it is a story, and that's where we like to have Gale Force Winds. You guys help put the story out there. You help develop the story and promote it across the many channels that we have. So we appreciate that as well. It's all about storytelling.
Well, we appreciate that, Willis, but I want to bring back to one thing before we go. This is the 10th anniversary of MASS.
Yeah.
From what I understand, you were there from the very beginning as part of the foundation of this event. How does it feel to be here 10 years later and the relevance that this show has?
Well, it was my idea 10 years ago, actually 11 years ago, but we missed one because of COVID. Right. So we didn't declare that last year to be the 10th. And when we started this, there was a lot of, well, there wasn't pushback, but there were a lot of people say that, we don't need another one. And we said, I'm sorry, but I think we do. And if you look at even the logo that we have, I remember, with a very meager budget of $300, getting someone to design that for me and have a focus on the north, on the Arctic, and our marine corridors. So you sit back with a lot of pride 10 years later when you look at the likes of Peter McKay and Peter Van Praag on stage, when you see the ambassador to Finland in the back of the room, and you see the CEO, president of Boeing Canada, and others, you realize, there is something here. And all these people come to us and say, listen, this is great, and we're going to come back next year. So our outlook for the future is to just grow it, make it bigger, but keep that relevance to what we're trying to do at Acada.
Well, Willis, I'm in awe of your leadership and vision. Now, look what they've created.
Oh, 100%. It's been a wonderful show, a great direction you're going, and a lot of people like coming here because they can make the connections here that they might not be able to make in other places. As you pointed out, that Boeing and the ASL, what an amazing connection happened last year, right?
Yeah,
it's worth it right there. Right?
And that's worth the price and the effort when you see those success stories. And I just listened to a gentleman from UNB, and that just makes me feel proud as well that we have UNB here on our turf talking about the wonderful things that they do in New Brunswick with UNB, and that's the way it should be. We're a regional organization, and we need to have them come here. We need to go there, and it's by getting out and doing that we pollinate this whole innovation ecosystem that we have. And I think we're doing something. I think we're doing it quite well.
Yeah, something special there. Thanks very much for being on the podcast. We certainly appreciate you.
Thank you.
BlueMetric wants to partner and work with Atlantic Canadian industries and organizations who are concerned about the water health of our planet and the people who inhabit it in an environmentally and culturally sensitive manner. BlueMetric wants to join the growing number of like-minded, innovative Atlantic Canadian companies who are changing the environmental landscape for the globe in a world-class way.